so things are a little bit crazy for me, and I am joined today by the lovely Fastercaster, the Lone Ranger himself. It's Chuck Rapid Norris.
Okay, you found my secret identity. Yeah, it's good to be back, Kix. It's good to have you back after what felt like forever. Just like Stone Sour says, it feels like forever. But it's good to have more foreign Brood War. I know there's another Brood War team league that just started up or is going on, but it's good to have the Shinhan Tank Pro League. I literally walked by the Shinhan Bank branch right outside my house, so it feels like serendipitous, perhaps even foreshadowing.
I need to get that sponsor money. I need to contact Shinhan Bank to bring them back.
Yeah, tell them, hey, by the way, I kind of like stole the league that you used to sponsor and like renamed it, just kind of a little bit. But if you want to like sponsor,
money.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, you know you're a Korean bank, and we have like a non-endemic audience. But like for the two Koreans that either play in or watch this tournament, like they might go to Shinhan if you you sponsor this league. They're like, well, what do you want?
Yeah,
except they say it in Korean, and they're like, well, maybe like I don't know, some Kraft macaroni and cheese or something. And they're like, well, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I'll definitely get all the people to go to Shinhan Bank when they go to Korea, but for now, it's all good. As we are going to move into the first of our two series today, and it's going to be a pretty good one, so let me bring up the screen to introduce the two teams, and we can get going. If I can remember what thing I actually have to click, there we go. Okay, so let's move on over, and let's have a look. Okay, so if you've checked the thread, you would know that it's going to be NaS, the North American squad, which now aren't just North American players, and PSiStorm.eu.
Yeah, I always get a little bit confused whenever you have PSiStorm playing because there's a StarCraft 2 team called PSiStorm. I think they just got a Heroes of the Storm team as well, but this is not that PSiStorm. It's a totally different PSiStorm, so I have to like position that in my brain. Also, this is a team that realistically you would never expect to win their games because they never did last round. So I'm hoping that we get a chance to see a better PSiStorm.eu in this round of the tournament.
You know, funny story about PSiStorm. You mentioned there's the StarCraft 2 one, and now the HOTS team. I think they are the same group of people, and I think
there's absolutely no way.
They spawned.
I promise you,
I'm fairly certain Grass said they spawned from the Brood War team, and then they kind of forgot about the Brood War team, so I'm not sure. I need to double check with him, but it's a weird story. Yeah,
that would be absolutely insane if there is actually a connection there. Also, I'd be totally wrong, so one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be nice for you not to be wrong, so let's just say you're right. That's fine. Until Grass proves otherwise, there is no connection between the teams. Let's go with that one. And having a look at the maps we are going to see today, we're going to see for the first time in round 2, Return of the King, a nice 4-player map, and secondly, another new starter to the tournament. It's going to be Flight Dreamliner, which I'm excited to see a few games on that, although it did used to be a little bit Zerg favoured in ZBT just because 2 Hatch Muter. Third set will be Troy, fourth set will be Triathlon, and if we get to that ace match, it's going to be on New Sniper Ridge. So
now, Kix, I thought we had a discussion about you literally killing StarCraft by putting in weird maps, and then I cast like last time with you, and it was like it wasn't too bad. But Flight Dreamliner, like come on, man, why is that in the map pool?
It's a cool map, man. It's one of the lesser known OSL maps, so I thought I'd give it a showcase here. Very reminiscent of Ride of the Valkyries, one of the older, really popular maps, and I think it was for one of the Korean era OSLs. I think it was 2010, maybe? I can never remember
It was the second, it was the second OSL that season. So there was like two OSL, there's OSL early, January and stuff, and then there was OSL later on in the year, and it was the second half of the year, and it was Korean era OSL, right? So they were like, it's the same thing, it's the same reason Overwatch was the first ASL map, because it's like, well, we're an airplane company, so if you guys could like make a map that's like an airplane, yeah. So that's how the conversation went. But yeah, so the map itself, it's not actually terrible. Anytime you shape a map like something, I always get a little bit skeptical because there's nothing inherently balanced about the airplane shape, right? And somehow you have to put that into a square map and make it somewhat symmetrical, but it's not a symmetrical map, and that's what's so cool about it. And well, one of the reasons that it actually worked so well is because you mentioned it was similar to Ride of the Valkyries. Well, what those two maps have in common is that they were both made by this guy named Valkyrie, which is where the first map gets its name. But he also made this fantastically talented map maker, went on to make many, many other fantastic Brood War maps for the OSL. And one of the reasons that this map may look weird, but it's actually super sick.
Yeah, and moving on quickly, we can go more into the map a little bit later. Of course, we're going to have Return of the King first. But if we have a look at the matches, well, I say the matches, the games. In this first set we're going to have eOnzErG versus ToKa. That's going to be coming up first on Return of the King. And for some reason ToKa is still showing as Zerg, but I'll fix that afterwards. We're going to have Demurity versus Mitak. That's going to be a TVZ on Flight Dreamliner, so we could see some of those muteless we were mentioning before. Terra is going to go against Headmaster. It's going to be a TVP on Troy. And Sugo is going to go against Cold on Triathlon, which could be quite fun as well. So there's going to be quite a lot of good games. But as we're about to see here, we're going to have eOnzErG for the first time in the STPL. I thought he was majorly trolling me last round, where he was like, no, I don't want to play. Like, he was staunchly never going to play in the SCPL. He didn't have a team that he could sign up with. And he was like, no, I am not playing. And here he is. Even he cannot he can't, I'm trying to think of the right word, but he can't,
Alright, Kix, we need to reboot your brain here 1 second.
He can't resist the allure of the STPL. That's what I was trying to say, but I was saying resist, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, no, resist was right.
Well, maybe now he'll be able to resist it with that sentence structure.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. He's quitting the league now. I've just ruined it.
Well, it's good. It is cool to see eOnzErG. Anytime I look to team leagues, I expect that somewhere amongst the teams, all the good players must be represented. But, Cadenzi doesn't have a team. eOnzErG doesn't have a team. I think DeWalt's just now coming back, so he doesn't have a team. So it's like there's a lot of talent out there.
Yep, and DeWalt is now on IRK, so he also has a team in the SCPL. And not only
it's kind of crazy how all the good players get picked up, right?
Yeah, I know, it's really surprising. But ToKa himself, he's not as well known as eOnzErG is, of course. I believe he's actually a Terran player. I think there's an error in my overlay, but that's fine. So it should be a fairly interesting TVZ. I feel kind of sorry for him, though, because eOnzErG, I would say his one major strength, and one of the things that's carried him so far, is just how good his EVT is.
Okay. I don't really have anything to add to that. I mean, it is a ZVT map, so I guess I'm going to do the casters and thing, and I'm going to say, well, I guess we'll just have to get into the game and find out.
That's a really, really good decision. Just quickly before we do that, just going to bring up the map stats. This is going to be the first time it's going to appear in the SCPL, but it did appear in the Clash for Chara a few times. So far, TVZ on Return of the King looking at 4-0 in favour of Terran, but we had some fairly one-sided games on this map. But it's a really interesting map. It spawned for the 2008 Incra OSL, the first ever Brood War tournament I ever saw, so that's why the 2008 maps keep appearing, because I have a kind of an affinity for them. They make me rather nostalgic. But it's a really cool 4-player map. There is a very interesting sort of third location. It's down a very narrow corridor with a small ramp leading down to it. So kind of different to what you'd see, and in CVT we're more likely to see the other main get taken anyway. But there's also the in-base main mineral only, but it is it's an island.
Main base. Yeah. So basically there's a base. We heard you like bases, so we put a base in your base. Unfortunately, there's no way your worker can get to it, so it is an island.
Yeah, and the king, the return of the king. The king is actually the mineral only base, so that's a spoiler. But we've spoken enough about the map now. Let's head on over to the game screen and let's get started with our first game of this evening. And that is completely the wrong screen. There we go. Okay, and starting us off in... Oh, I forgot the extra high. There we go, starting us off in the bottom right-hand side is going to be the Orange Terran, who is ToKa, but his other name is 1A2A3A, and he is going to be fighting for Storm.
Yeah, his opponent in the red is going to be one of the best foreign or non-Korean rather Zerg players out there playing for NaS. It is eOnzErG, or eOnzErG if you are trying to pronounce it in Korean with an American accent.
Yep, and I mean, me and Eon, we have a colored history. He is very, very nice to me, I would say. He's I think he likes me secretly, but we do always have some choice words for each other. But it's nice to see him in the tournament. And did I just disconnect from Discord, or did your mic disconnect? Okay, I think Rapid has like somehow either muted himself, but it says he's here and he's talking. Oh, my Discord's disconnected. Okay. Either way, going back to the game, I guess, while we wait for Discord to come back up, because I am still here, thankfully. OBS is still working. We do 1A2A3. Looks like he's going for a fairly standard opening so far. No 8 racks. And I think I like that decision, because going for an 8 racks, it's... yeah, when you go for an 8 racks against a player such as eOnzErG, it's very, very hard to make it work. He's very likely to do what he's done here. He's gone for that 9 pool, gone into the gas trick, up to 10 drones. And he's just going to be looking to play a little bit more aggressive. Like, one thing that eOnzErG is known for is his aggressive play. Back when I used to cast a lot with Sail, one thing we always used to say was how eOnzErG's games would very rarely last over like 5 minutes or so. And that's a... I mean, you can say it's a stereotype, but it was very, very apt. But more recently, he's been sort of extending his play. He's been practicing a lot. He said that he wants to train and go to Korea as well, so it's really cool to see another foreign player do that. I mean, Cadenzi, probably, arguably even one of the best female players in the entire world, so that was why she ended up going to Korea. And it's worked out pretty well for her so far. She's doing pretty well. And I think eOnzErG wants to try and replicate that success as a Cuban Zerg from Europe. He wants to use the opportunity to practice a lot more. He's going to do his best in the KSL qualifiers that have just ended, and also going to do what he can and try and go for the ASL qualifiers as well. But here we go. Looks like Eon has been scouted out. 1A2A3 has got his SCVs, but he needs to start repairing, or at least needs to pull them back. This is a very, very dangerous situation to be in. When those lings get past your SCVs on the ramp, this is where things get very, very dicey, and it looks like the Lings have taken the engagement of the ramp. They are pushing around, just being annoying as possible. But luckily for 1A2A3, luckily for ToKa, it's not quite over yet. eOnzErG did not go all in with this. He's not built another huge amount of Lings. But we do have another drone being sent out, possibly to do something a little bit BM. Maybe going to hide in a hatchery here somewhere. But looks like he is just a little bit of miss micro. He's going to send that back home to do what he can. Now 1A2A3 has done a really good job here trying to stop the mining on some of these patches. And that is going to be very, very good for him. Every little mineral counts. And I'm just going to quickly type to Rapid. And yeah, Discord is down if you're wondering. I am casting with Rapid, so... And the server status page isn't really helping. But you know what? I am happy to be here with you on my own. Here we go. We have a 2 racks coming up from 1A2A3A. Is this going to be for the 3 racks Academy special. It's going to be 2 racks Academy at least. This is off of 1 base, which is not standard anymore. And if he does choose to add that 3rd rack on, we could see a sunken bust from him. But it looks like he's going to skip the 3rd barracks for now. It looks like more likely he is just going to go for a 2 racks Academy, go for a later expand. And it is going to be hard to make this work, especially against a player of eOnzErG's caliber. But he is certainly going to try. Eon is going heavy on drones right now. He does have quite a decent number of lings, which will be enough to scout for this. But is eOnzErG going to play a little bit greedy and not choose to add on any of those additional sunkens that he's going to need? I mean, eOnzErG has seen that there's no expansion, so he should know there's something funky going on. But what exactly is his choice going to be? We do have the Academy finished. Stim is on the way, and we should have some medics. Here we go. They're coming in. As we look here, you see that mineral-only island base. There's so few minerals on here, it's almost not worth expanding early on. But of course, you do need to take out that 8 mineral field just to make it so... Cast Fire Whisper. Do the opposite of what Nyoken did and the BSL10's computer crashed. I didn't see that. I really want to know what happened, but we do have that Spire coming on. Finally, Eon is adding on the Sunkens, but this is a lot of Marine Medic coming out here for ToKa. And this is going to be a very hairy moment for eOnzErG. He's going to add another creep colony, but he's only going to have maximum of 3 sunken colonies by the time this gets here. And he is in close position, so this could be very, very nice for ToKa. Can he hit the all-important timing that could win him the game here? This is such an interesting moment to be in against eOnzErG, but it looks like, does he have... I think he must have range. There we go, the first stim does go down, he's going to move in, he doesn't have that much to tank out in front, and there is a lot of lings coming in here. The Marine still holding up strong, he's going to try and pull back to the ramp though, the ling's getting a great surround, and it looks like that's going to be enough to repel this attack for now. Or radio cast. Nice. Yeah, here we go. It looks like the Marines have been cleaned up. That's going to be a little bit bad for ToKa. ToKa, of course, is going to be behind from the late command center, but it was definitely worth trying for that. Going to add that engineering bay on as well, which is also going to be quite late. He could be caught off guard here with a lot of Mulists, but here we go. Will he even be able to hold on to his ramp? He needs his fire bat at the front of this to try and deal with all the units. But here we go, looks like we do have the Marines. Going to clear that up. The SCV has been taken out, delaying the expansion even more. And we should see very, very shortly all of the Mutalists popping out of the eggs. And that is going to be very, very hard for ToKa to hold on to. He's lost a lot of Marines throughout all of this. He didn't do that much damage. He didn't force that many lings. And it looks like eOnzErG is going to get ready to go for that additional base. And there we go, we finally do have those Mutalists popping out just on time. A little bit later than normal, he was forced to make 3 sunken colonies, and did make a lot more lings than you would normally see for a 3-hatch Muta player, so that is going to make a little bit of a difference here. It's cool to be back in the casting seat once again, but finally the turret's coming down, but this is going to be very, very difficult. He doesn't have that many Marines to hold on here. Looks like we do have a ling trying to come in. The turret will get denied for now. But still, this is going to be a lot of damage from eOnzErG. eOnzErG's Mutalist Micro is some of the best outside of Korea. And is he going to be able to showcase it here? They are both in Europe, so should be a little bit easier to do the damage without worrying about any form of lag or anything like that. And eOnzErG just being annoying as humanly possible, getting as many SCVs as he could. That was a really nice bit of damage he did there. Now, are we going to see eOnzErG take this base? He seems to be holding on. He's not ready to do it just yet. I mean, he could choose to do an all-in from here. This wouldn't be outside of eOnzErG's. This isn't going to be outside of eOnzErG's sort of, I'm trying to think of the right word, but his repertoire. And there we go, the Mutalist just coming back in time and time again, just doing more and more damage. And if we have a look at the health, they're still very, very healthy. That's very rare in this situation. And ToKa just can't seem to take a break against this Mutalist harassment. Every time he thinks he's safe, every time he tries to get those turrets up, the Mutalists just dive back in. And finally, with this third base coming up as well, eOnzErG is going to look to cement his lead in this game. Now, of course, the supplies are quite deceptive. They look quite similar. But eOnzErG is ahead in supply, and that is really unheard of early on in ZVT. But I mean, just losing his first Muteless there, that's very, very good control by him. ToKa doing his best, struggling a little bit in the same way I do in the case of a lot of his Marines and Medics aren't in a tight ball. And that gives eOnzErG's Mutants a little bit more power. They can pop in, they can take out a Marine without taking too much damage. And that's exactly what they're doing here. Looks like we should have some Hydralisks going up to the third base now to try and secure that. But eOnzErG is going to feel great. He knows exactly where ToKa's army is. He knows it's very small, and he should not feel under any threat right now. Wouldn't surprise me if they were actually lurkers that he'd morphed in his main. And there we go, eOnzErG just picking apart ToKa here. It's almost a complete annihilation. And there we go, all of ToKa's Marines are dead. The medics are away from the final Marines. There's only 3 barracks here. This is one of the reasons why you see 5 barracks is a lot more standard these days. Just because of the way the Mutalisks work. If they get on top of your barracks like this, there's very little you can actually do. Now, it was Hydralisks that were moving over there. Some Overlords coming up here as well, just to get out of the way. And this looks like it could be the killing blow for eOnzErG. There's nothing back here to defend. There's no bunker. And these Lings and the Muteless could be the end of ToKa in this game. It looks like we do actually have a little bit more Mute Micro going on, but GG! And eOnzErG is going to take out ToKa in a very decisive first game on Return of the King. Okay, and I can really tell that I've not casted for a while, especially solo cast, because my voice is already going, but it's all good. We have rapid casting with me as well, but unfortunately Discord is still down, so waiting for that to come back up. But I'm gonna get ready to load up the next replay, and just while I do that, I am going to quickly bring up the intro, and I will see you